Well, a few years ago, Mayor Greg Thole had called a community meeting to ask people what they thought was important for the city of Madison, and there were many ideas. Child care and the school and senior center, but another one was making our city more beautiful. From that, some interested folks began to plan on how we could do that, and it was difficult because we had no experience in it. But through trial and error and failure and persistence, we were able to form a network of people that helped us guide the way. The legacy funds that are available and distributed from Southwestern Minnesota Arts Council was a tremendous help. And they helped us with the grant writing process also and told us what was important to include and helped guide us down that path.
Madison's new outdoor sculpture called a biome is really a demonstration or an icon of what this prairie was years ago. It's sort of the story of the culture and the history of the region, and this region, of course, being the native prairies of hundreds of years ago. I've read stories, and I'm sure many people have, about the pioneers who came out here, and the growth of the prairies was many times over their heads. In fact, a lot of stories of youngsters being lost in this tall grass, and that's what this biome depicts so well, is the height of these plants and what it must have been like for these pioneers.
The prairie's probably not coming back, but for a learning tool, like if young people want to see the actual scale of the plants. So what we did was the smaller plants all the way up to the big compass plant, that would be their size out in nature. Accessibility to me is really important. If any of you have a relative or a niece or a nephew or somebody that has any sort of disability, being able to touch and feel and sit and climb, those are really huge. And those facilitate the additional learning about, potential learning about plants and nature. And so I feel like if a teacher wanted to bring a kindergarten class or a third grade class out here, they could stand beside this and say, that's how tall those plants would have been 200 years ago when they were living here. And it will hopefully generate some kind of intrigue in the kid's mind, and then they would want to learn more. Experiencing it within for pictures or whatever, I could see a bride climbing up there. I could see somebody sitting on that top getting their picture taken for whatever reason. Native indigenous materials are kind of that's big to me. Using weathered steel in the transportation process, you don't have to worry about scratching or dinging. It'll last our lifetimes and probably more. And as it weathers, it gains a little bit of character. So that's what the method I use. Design, cut your parts, hope you can design them to where you can bolt them together fairly easily, transport them, get them in place. Hopefully they fit back together again and go from there. Half of our time on Earth is spent in the dark. The lighting gives it that second dimension that you're not going to pick up during the day. Like during the day, the form is kind of the strong design element. But at night or at dusk, when those lights come on, that illuminates the outlines of the plant forms. Simple LED lighting, behind is really inexpensive now. It's kind of, I want to say, available to the average, person like me. I don't have to be an expert electrician. I mean, there's a learning curve, yeah, but those lights will last for 30 to 40,000 hours.
It's by 2 highways in our community. It's in a good location so that people driving by are going to notice it, especially at night when they drive by, and they're going to go, oh, what was that? And they might come back. And we hope it brings people to town. We hope it helps our community grow with their appreciation for art.
I've done public art pieces in big cities and small communities. And the neat thing about small communities is they have a vested interest and they care about what the end result is. Big exposure is always cool. Everybody likes to stroke their ego. But for me, the committee members I've met, you guys, the newspaper people, the radio personalities, all the members of the committee have been so outreaching and, friendly and nice. One thing I like about public art pieces, it helps us think in terms that we don't see every day. All of us go about our jobs, our role, our whatever we do every day kind of becomes mundane and we don't think about it. Public art allows us to be walking down a street or driving past, and for a split second or maybe 30 seconds or hopefully 10 minutes, we look at these pieces and think how it affects us. What do we think of it? We think, what did the designer, what was their idea? What do the rest of the people think about it? So it jogs our thought process. There's no right or wrong answer, and I love that.
Postcards is made possible by the Minnesota Arts and Cultural Heritage Fund and the citizens of Minnesota. Additional support provided by Margaret A. Cargill Philanthropies, Mark and Margaret Yakel-Julien on behalf of Shalom Hill Farms, a retreat and conference center in a prairie setting near Windham, Minnesota. On the web at shalomhillfarm.org. Alexandria, Minnesota, a year-round destination with hundreds of lakes, trails, and attractions for memorable vacations and events. More information at explorealex.com. The Lake Region Arts Council's Arts Calendar, an arts and cultural heritage-funded digital calendar showcasing upcoming art events and opportunities for artists in West Central Minnesota. On the web at lrac4calendar.org. Playing today's new music plus your favorite hits. 96.7 Cram. Online at 967cram.com.